getting towards the end. So now is the 49th limb of Bhakti, which is called Atma Nivedanam. So Atma means self, and Nivedanam means to fully give oneself or fully dedicate oneself. So here it is the 49th limb of Bhakti, but in Srimad Bhagavatam, where the pastimes of Prahlad Maharaj are there Prahlad also explains Navadha Bhakti. So Bhakti sometimes is given 64 limbs, 9 limbs, and then 5 limbs are also given. So 9 limbs when he explains Prahlad Maharaj, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Arichanam, Dasam, Sakhyam, Atma Nivedanam, Padim Atma Nivedanam. So there he also says Atma Nivedanam as the 9th limb of Bhakti. So this is also very important because as you can see from what it means, dedicating oneself completely. And that really is what Bhakti means, dedicating oneself completely to the Lord. But what that really means, how do we really practically do it? We in our day-to-day life don't really see that we can. Sometimes it seems very difficult. So before we can understand how do we practice, because all these limbs of Bhakti that we are discussing are things that we are supposed to practice, like how to hear, how to chant, how to do deity worship, so many different limbs that we have been discussing. So how do we really practice Atma Nivedanam? So the first thing to understand is what is Atma Nivedanam. So again the two words Atma means self. And here Vishwanath Chakravarty Thakur very nicely explains that what does this mean? And he gives two meanings of the word Atma. So we'll read, it's a very short explanation. We'll read it and then discuss it. And if anyone has questions, feel free to ask. So he says that the word Atma refers to egoism. Egoism means this is me, I am something. Or in other words, a sense of I pertaining to the body. So every time we say, who am I? We always, even though we hear that we are not this body, but we are the soul, but I can say that every one of us, even though we have been coming to the temple and hearing for so long, the truth is, we still identify I with my physical body. Because that recognition or that identification is very strong. It is not easy. So this Atma Nivedanam as we go through, just remember, and later on we will discuss, not something very easy, very difficult to attain. So he says that identification with the body, that sense of I related to the body, which pretty much all of us have, right? And we should accept it. That's a fact. Because we are not at that stage of perfection. He says, as well as mamata, or possessiveness, or the sense of mind that is related to the body. So I and mind. Aham, mam eti. So aham, this is me, this is my body, this is who I am. And then also things that are related to the body, which are mine. So this is what our world consists of. Right? All of us, wherever we are, in whichever country, whichever community, whichever color, whichever religion we follow, our understanding and world consists of me and mine. Mameti. So everything that is related to me, that may be my home, my family, my parents, my wealth, my job, this is all is mine. Beyond that, we don't really care much. Whatever happens, we may have some sensitivity, some compassion for someone else, but at the end of the day, we all care for ourselves. And once Akbar was asked, the people in this court here, in court, that who loves the most someone, right? So they said, a mother's love is the most for a child, and that's true. But then Birbal, who was one of his famous ministers, he said, well, when it comes to yourself, or even the mother herself is most important. So with her child. And they put them in a pond. And then they started filling water in the pond. So this child was holding on to the mother as the water started filling up. And the water started coming where the child was. She put the child a little bit up because she's taller. And then as soon as the water started coming up, she again put the child up. And then the water started coming up to her. This place, she put the child on the head. But the moment that water crossed her own nose and she started drowning, she put the child below her feet and stood on top of the child. So this is actually true. This is, if you can read, this is a true story about Akbar. And then he said, see, now of course this may not be true because we see many examples of mothers and parents sacrificing their own life for the sake of children. But in general, the point that was that when it comes to us, we are the most important for ourselves, right? And sometimes we do see many times people sacrifice even people within their own family for their own self. So there is I and mine. So he says both of these things, me, that I feel this physical body, as well as whatever is mine, surrendering everything to Krishna, offering both of these to Krishna is Atma Nivedanam. Now you can see how easy it is, right? How easy it is? Easy? No, it is not easy. It is very difficult. So, but it is achievable. It is achievable and we will discuss that. So then he explains two types of Nishtha. These two types is I and mine. So first he says, the living entity within the body is Dehi, or one who possesses the body is also known as Aham. So the living entity, meaning the soul, which is within the body, it is called Dehi. Dehi means it is the one which is accepting the body, accepting the Deha. So one who accepts the body, the covering of the body is the Atma or the soul. He says, when the living entity takes support of these two conceptions, the sense of possessing the body and the sense of ego or self, it gives rise to the sense of I. So, when Jiva, when the living entity falls into this world and gets this subtle body of mind, intelligence and false ego, and because of that false ego, he takes this conception because of the illusion, gets this conception that this body is, that sense of possessing a body comes, and gives rise to the sense of I. The possessiveness or attachment that rests upon this sense of I is called Dehi Nishtha Mamta, or attachment grounded in the egoism of possessing the body. So he's explaining two. One, the feeling of I, and that I comes somehow because the soul misidentifying with the body. And even though we know, right, this body is temporary, we all know. Just yesterday I was talking to someone and we were just discussing that we don't know where we came from. We have no idea, no clue what we were in our previous life. We have no clue when we will die. And then we also have no clue what we will be in our next life. Absolutely no clue. Right? But still, for this small period of time that we have this physical body, which is also growing, becoming old, suffering from so many diseases, and then going towards old age, we feel so attached to it. This is the power of Maya. So you're saying this is because of this ego that attachment is there. And then similarly, the sense of mind in relation to the body is called Deha Nishtha. So one is Dehi Nishtha, which is I, and one is Deha Nishtha, which is body. So Nishtha means identification or attachment. So both of these are I and mine. So one should offer both the sense of I and the sense of mine to Krishna. One should give up the conceptions of I and me and adopt the conception that I am a servant of Krishna. I accept only the reverence of Krishna's prasad, and this body is an instrument suitable for the service to Krishna. To maintain the body exclusively with this mentality is called Atma Nivedanam. So what he's saying, so first explaining this, who is I and who is mine, and that we have such immense attachment to this. How do we come out of it? How do we really get out of it? And that is really the whole journey that we have. From where we are today and to go to the spiritual world, that whole journey is going away from this conception that I am this physical body to that clear conception and completely absorbed in that mood that I am a servant of Krishna. Right now we know it theoretically, and it is true. It is our constitution. Right now we understand a little bit. Some of us do not know it at all. Some of us have understood it theoretically. But the truth is, that is the constitution of the soul. That is how we were constructed. Just like a chair is constructed for you to sit on. You can't eat the chair, or you can't do something else with the chair. You won't stand on the chair. The way the chair was constructed, by its very construction, you are supposed to sit on it. That is the use of the chair. Now if someone starts using the chair for something different, of course, start standing on it or sleeping on it, it is not going to give you the real happiness. So similarly, the soul is constructed for all its manifestation is for the service of the Lord. So till we get to that point, we suffer in this world. Till that we get to that point. First we understand theoretically, and that starts giving us some sense of peace in our life. The more and more we understand, and the more and more we realize it, that's how our level of happiness increases. So he's saying that to overcome this sense of I and mine, we have to somehow attach ourselves to the Lord. See, I think many times Bhakti Prabhuji has also given this example, Dhanna Bhagat, right? We had heard of this. So someone asked him, what is Bhakti? He was a farmer, and he was in his farm putting different seeds, and whatever things were growing, he was chopping them. So someone asked him, what is Bhakti? So he says, so he did the action that he took one plant out from here and put it on the other side. So he said, take it out from here and put it on the other side. This is all what Bhakti is. So what he said, all we have to do is that attachment that we have for me and mine, take that attachment there and put it towards the attachment of Krishna and whatever is Krishna's. Right? So, Jo Bhagwan or Jo Bhagwan ka hai. So whatever is him and his things related to him, when we get attached to them, that is what is Bhakti, and that is liberating. There is not much difference. It's not that the soul's desires will come to an end, or because the nature of the soul is to desire, the nature of the soul is to be attached, the nature of the soul is to love. But the only thing is that desire is right now for ourselves, that love is for things that are mine, and that attachment to things that are mine. But the same things, when transferred to that of Krishna, that becomes Bhakti. So nothing very different that we have to do. Now how do we do it? How do we practically do it? How do we practically do it? Anyone has any idea? How do we practically do it? How do we take our attachment from here and then put it there? How do we do it?
Come to the temple.
That's a good point. Come to the temple. Because that at least helps us understand. Right? So that's the first thing. Come to the temple. And what else do we do? What do we come and do to come to the temple? Sadhu Sang, and then we engage in Seva. We engage in Seva. So basically, coming to the temple, of course, is when we first understand. Because still we don't even understand how we will do something. So first is understanding, associating with the devotees and understanding. And then we can see that how we can slowly transform our life. And for of course we cannot stay at the temple all day long, 24 hours. to this concept that I am Krishna's and that I am doing everything for his pleasure and for the pleasure of Guru and Vaishnavas. So this mood of seva, the mood of service, is actually very, very powerful. And see, doing seva, it does require some training and it also requires some sacrifice. It does require some sacrifice. See, to give up the attachment to the body, we have to do things slowly and gradually, things that our mind and body do not like. And that's where the biggest resistance comes, because we're so accustomed to enjoying our senses, not just from this life, but from many, many lifetimes. Today there was a beautiful lecture of Gurudev on Shiv Tattva, because on Wednesday we have Shivratri, Mahashivratri, we'll be celebrating here at the temple. So Gurudev said a very important nice thing. He said our intelligence, our buddhi, is basically
nothing.
No, he said it is made, it is not from this life. It is because of what has happened in our previous lives. So we are carrying those impressions, and that intelligence is constructed based on everything that we have in our previous life. And in the previous lives, we have been so used to enjoying. Whether we were in animal life or in so many different lives, we're so used to it. Now, how do we change the course of this mindset, right? This intelligence from here to here. It takes a lot of effort. And that's where sadhu sang is very important. Because based on sadhu sang and based on the energy that we get in the association of the sadhus, then we slowly start thinking our impressions on the mind that are there for many, many lifetimes. They slowly start changing. And then the sadhu says, oh, you have to do something. Right? Some little thing you have to do. For example, at least in one day chant one round of mala. Right? So one mala, which is 108 beats, sit down and chant one mala. So first looks very difficult because we have never done it. And taking a mala and sitting for 10 minutes and chanting, it means that we have to take some time out from whatever else we are doing. So it takes a little. So some in the beginning we may not feel very encouraged, but if we accept the words of the sadhu, we accept the words of Krishna, and then we start doing, right, in this little sacrifice. Then this will go from 1 to 4. And then now chant 8 rounds. Now chant 16 rounds. So see, just to do this, there is a sacrifice. Right? So if you are able to come to 16 rounds, that takes hour, 15 minutes, sometimes it may take hour and a half. Now in your whole day, when you're so used to doing so many other things, watching TV, going out and having fun, with so many things, our day is filled with so many things. Then it requires some adjustment, right? It requires some mental adjustment. So this is, I'm telling you, a practical way. So first thing is, we have to that desire, right? The desire that yes, I want to come to this level that Krishna is saying, Atma Nivedanam. I want to get to the level of self-realization. I want to realize who I am. I want to see Krishna. So once that desire becomes there, it's intense. There's some desire is there. Then how do I do it? So just like I give this example many times, none of us came to America just like this, right? We slept in the night and in the morning we opened our eyes and we were in America. Right? Anyone?
Like in Rasamrita, we have jaundice. We cannot taste the sweet. No?
Yes.
The same thing with Harinam. In the beginning, it doesn't taste.
In the beginning, anything in the beginning, right? The child goes to the school the first day, to pre-K, it's crying, doesn't want to go, right? So everything we do in life, it requires a little adjustment. So coming to America also, it required an effort. Right? Most of us who are first generation, we had to make an effort to come here. So similarly, but it all started from that desire to come. So first, that desire has to develop, that longing, that greed has to develop, and that greed again comes in the association of devotees, and that's why sang is so important, and that is our decision. Whose association That is something we have to decide. So then this kind of adjustment is required in our daily life. And unless we make those adjustments, it will be lifetimes. Nothing will change. So one time there was a party, a wedding party, and they had to go to the other village for the wedding. So big boat from this village, everyone got onto that boat. And it was late in the evening time, so the sun was almost setting. So the boat, when everyone was on the boat, big huge boat, and it was dark, also it was not the full moon day, so there was not enough light. And then they started rowing the boat. So rowing, the whole night they were rowing the boat. And people on the boat were having a good time. Some of them went to sleep, but they were having a good time. Slowly as the sun started rising, and a couple of people, they woke up and they said, oh, we're still at the same place where we were in the night time. What happened? The whole night we were rowing the boat, but we have not come to the other side of the river. So then they saw and they told the boatman, oh, what happened? So he said, oh, I forgot to take out the anchor. The anchor and was still anchored to the ground only. The whole night they are rowing, even 1 centimeter they did not go forward. So the point is, till we give up this anchor that we have to our physical body and everything, because if we have fear, कि अगर मैं छोड़ दूंगा तो क्या हो जाएगा? If I give up this, what will happen? So end of the day, you don't have to give up. See, this is where you have to understand. We don't have to physically give up outwardly, but have to give up internally. And because it is the internal attachments that we have that are the cause of fear. It's not, Krishna is nowhere saying that you give up your family or go to the forest or everyone become a sannyasi. It is not possible. But we have to give up the attachments internally. And that happens when we start making these little adjustments in our life. And believe me, these adjustments are not easy. Right? Even if you start chanting one round, neither we have the taste. It needs some adjustment in our daily routine. But I can also guarantee you that if you make this adjustment, then you will start experiencing. There will be, maybe from your family, maybe from your friends, maybe from some others, there will be some resistance also. साधु बन गया, ये कोई टाइम है ये सब करने का, जब बुढ़े हो जाते हैं तब ये सब करते हैं, right? When you become old, all kind of things will happen. Right? But somewhere deep in your heart, you have this faith. No, this is true. Everything else is temporary. Everything is temporary, and it is not untrue. We just don't want to accept it. We don't want to accept it. All of us are in the same boat. We just don't want to accept it. So one time I was Gurudev, and Gurudev was sitting, and I was with him, and he just said one thing. He said, everything in the world is temporary. Everything. Just that one statement was so profound. He said, everything is temporary, nothing is permanent. But we just don't accept it. So once we accept it, and we start making those little adjustments in our life, right? And then, so it says, right, there's this famous English phrase, no pain, no gain. Right? No pain, no gain. So some pain has to be there. Unless we make that pain, how is Krishna going to see that yes, you really want me? Right? Today is Ekadashi. There is, keeping the fast of Ekadashi is also some pain. It does cause some pain because we're so used to having our regular lifestyle, eating the food on a daily basis, making our tummy full. But on Ekadashi, not eating grains, not eating meats, this is also some pain. But there is a gain with it. Madhav Tithi Bhakti Janani Yatane Palanakari. Bhakti Thakur says that this Madhav Tithi, this Ekadashi Vrat, whoever keeps Madhav Tithi Bhakti Janani, this is the mother of Bhakti, that you will actually attain Bhakti by doing this. You will actually attain devotion by doing this. So Gurudev, and again in the last 2-3 days, beautiful lectures of Gurudev इसे सब कहते हैं प्राण जाए पर वचन न जाए। रघुकुल रीति सदा चली आई, प्राण जाए पर वचन न जाए। तो गुरुदेव से वैष्णवों की रीति क्या है? व्हाट इज वैष्णव? प्राण जाए पर भजन न जाए, राइट? प्राण जाए पर भजन ना जाए। That even though my life goes away, but my bhajan, whatever commitments I have made to my Gurudev, whatever that commitment I have made, that should not go. And it is this attachment to Guru and to Guru's words, this is the only thing that takes us forward, nothing else. My Gurudev has given me this instruction, and what come may be, life or death, I will give my life to fulfill this mission. And whatever problem comes, I will face it. I will just tolerate it. So Gurudev is also saying, just tolerate it. Because things will happen. So many difficulties will come, so many problems will come, and all of us get very disturbed by problems and so many different things. It happens. It's natural, right? Because we are still imperfect. So don't feel bad if you feel disturbed or you become anxious. All of that happens. But this is where when we come to the temple, and this is where we hear it again, then it again goes into the mind. No, I was just unnecessarily being so disturbed. Everything is in the control of Guru and Krishna. So, by doing this seva, by practically engaging in service, and that service in which we actually feel some pain. See, when we come to the temple, if we do, and see, this is a very important aspect of seva. If we do seva just as we want it, and as per our convenience, then there will be no gain. Little gain, some sukriti will be there, but not the real gain. Krishna plane will not come. It will not come. Because we are doing it based on our own convenience and based on how we want it. But when Guru gives instructions, then sometimes it is not as per our convenience, right? It is not as per our convenience. Our Gurudev was very merciful. He didn't really give too many strong instructions to his close disciples, of course. Like Sri Swami Maharaj, when he came to the West, he instructed devotees just go to Africa and preach in South Africa. They did not know who was there. They did not even one single person. Like Gurudev said, Srila Maharaj go to Brazil and preach. Did not know anyone there. How would you go and make even the first connection? Right? Where would you even sleep? But just took the order of Guru. Right? Sri Swami Maharaj was instructed by Sri Bhakti Saraswati Thakur he go and preach in the English language. At that advanced stage he came. How would he go? Just knew one person, but came on what? That strength of the commitment to his Guru's words, his instructions, and see what he did. And never took credit for himself. He said, all the credit is mine, Gurudev's credit. And this is, you can see in the life of each and every devotee. Even today, any devotee who is able to accomplish something is because they have taken some pain in their life to serve the mission of Guru and Krishna. It doesn't happen otherwise. They have taken some pain. Just like you may become successful at your work, in your business, right? People take, I have one at work, one point, and they were telling me that their senior VP is every day in the office at 6 o'clock in the morning wearing his suit and tie. He's there every day till 9 p.m. And that's why he's become a senior VP and now he'll become an executive VP. So it takes, you all know, everyone is working, that how much work that you have to put in to get some gain. It is pain. Being in the office at 6 o'clock in the morning, working so many hours a night. And we are ready to take that pain. But when it comes to Krishna, we don't want to take any pain. And that's why what happens? हमारी किश्ती जो है वो अभी तक वहीं लटकी हुई है. Our boat is still stuck there only. It hasn't moved much. So how much our boat will move forward in this life will depend upon us. How much pain we will take. So, like I was saying, that maybe some of you coming to the temple, believe me, it's not easy. I credit every one of you who comes to the temple on Sunday at 11:30 in the morning. I really, really appreciate everyone. Why? Because it is with so many things, everyone here has so many things to take care of, your family, especially if you have children, then the weather sometimes is so bad and you don't live close to the temple, and sometimes you may have gone to some family event on a Saturday evening. Then coming Sunday morning, it is challenging. It is not easy, so believe me, it's not easy. But if we take that pain, that no matter what, if I can get to my work at this scheduled time every single day, then why once in a week? Work I have to go 5 days a week. Right? I have to be there every day at 9 o'clock in the morning. Right? So why can't I be at the temple at that time for 1.5 hours? So that pain that we take, believe me, we don't come to the temple for anyone else. We come to the temple for Guru and Krishna, for them. And whether someone else comes or not, I will go and do my seva. The day our mentality becomes like this, the day we start taking something, you can experience, because this is not something I can make you experience. You have to experience it yourself. If there is a mango which is full of taste and juice, I can eat it and I can tell you it is very tasty. But how are you going to taste it? I can sit in front of you and I can enjoy the mango, but how are you going to taste it? You have to feel it yourself and you have to do it yourself. So each one of us has to take our own share of the pain to realize our own gain. So Srila Bhakti Vishwanath Chakravarty Thakur describes this very nicely, and this is how slowly the attachment. The whole point was the self, the surrender starts happening. And I can tell you, every devotee who has been in this line for as many years, you can see the other birthday, one devotee, and she came to me, actually Leena Didi came to me, had a very nice question. After Siddhanti Maharaj gave the class and we were discussing, she came, she said, Prabhuji, I still don't sometimes feel that I have understood everything. So I said, Leena Didi, just think of yourself 3 years ago. 3 years ago, what you understood. Today, do you understand more? She said, yes. So I said, you're making progress. Right? So, and this feeling that I still don't understand, that should actually always stay, because that keeps our humility. But compare yourself what you were 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 5 years ago, before you started coming to the temple and associating, and see where you are today. We still have imperfections, we still have problems, all that is fine. But some faith has developed, right? Some faith has developed, some conviction has developed. And we just have to keep doing it. See, all we have to do is not listen to the mind. I have to go to the temple every Sunday, listen to Harikatha, just doing the simple thing, that conviction will become strong. Because right now, the Shraddha is very, very formal. That any day it will just go away. But we have to keep pushing ourselves till the date that conviction becomes very strong. That after that, nobody will be able to shake it. Our Guru Varga, no matter what may happen, right? Their faith does not shake. And this is what differentiates a devotee from a non-devotee. That a devotee's faith, no matter what may happen, right? The world may fall apart, but his conviction that Krishna is there, I am his, will never fail. So there is a very beautiful song that many of you must have heard, that Bhakti Thakur sings. He says, Manas deha geha jo kichu mo, arpil dvapare nand kishore. That whatever I have, my mind, my body, whatever I have, arpil dvapare nand kishore, I am offering everything unto your lotus feet. And you must have heard, just like our Gurudev came, Param Gurudev, when we were talking about him. When Srila Bhakti Saraswati Thakur also asked him to go back to see his mother, because she was sick on her deathbed, he did not go. He said, now I have given everything, my life, my body, everything, Gurudev, is at your feet. So, I am not going to go away from you, because if I go, maybe my mother will ask, Beta, now you take care of our lands, you take care of our property, then I have gotten mother and father in every life. Even as an animal, you can't be born. Even as an insect, you can't be born without your parents. But in how many lives will you get a Guru? And that I about this. 99.999% people don't even know that there is something beyond this existence. We actually have a path to come out of this and go to Golok Dham. How fortunate we are. So here, just one last point. Srila Rupa Goswami, he explains in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu that this Atma Nivedanam is dushkar. He says it's very difficult. And he says it is difficult for two reasons. And he basically explains that first, when we just surrender, not with bhav, not with mood, emotions, he says that type of Atma Nivedanam devotees don't even want. So that's why it is that type of Atma Nivedanam, and he gives the example of Bali Maharaj. So Bali Maharaj also surrendered himself completely, right? When Lord Vamadev came, he gave his entire self in body. He said, Prabhu, you put your third foot on my head. So gave himself completely. But his mood was not of service. He actually wanted protection for himself. So there was some still desire for himself. So Srila Goswami says that type of Atma Nivedanam we don't want. But then he says that Atma Nivedanam like Ambarish Maharaj. So Ambarish Maharaj, how's that verse? So he was engaged in his mind in the service of Krishna. So all his the mind, then his tongue in chanting the name of Krishna, his hands in sweeping the floor of the Lord's temple, his mouth in tasting the prasada, his all senses were engaged. And then he says even higher than that is the Atma Nivedanam of the Mahishis, the queens of Dwarka. But even higher than that, that of the Braj Gopis. Because they themselves gave themselves completely. And we don't have time, but many of you know that particular story, right? Last time when Naraji came trying to find out who's the highest devotee of Krishna, nobody would give the dust, because Krishna said, if you can get the dust from the feet of one of my devotees and I can put it on my head, then my headache will go away. But nobody was ready to give. Even the queens of Dwarka. How can a wife think that the dust from her feet will be on the head of her husband? So they also refused. Everyone in Vrindavan refused, except for the gopis. And when Naraji said, are you not scared of going to the hell? Because Krishna is the supreme, and if dust from your feet on his head, they said, we don't care. Even if you go to hell, but if Krishna is pleased, Anukule Krishna. If Krishna gets happiness, then they're ready to sacrifice anything. So this is the highest stage of Atma Nivedanam. That is what our goal should be. It may take a few lifetimes to get there, but at least we should aspire for it. God Premanande Hari Bol. Anyone has a question? We have a few minutes. Anyone has any question? Any question? Okay. So thanks again everyone for coming.
Thank you. Please give a hand again. Please put the chairs back so the young people can put the chairs back. And the TV screen will see over Krishna Kanta. He's here.
Jaya Radha Govinda, Radha Govinda Radhe. Brajara